where we're trying to put numbers in order from least to greatest, and they are in scientific notation. So, what do we know about scientific notation? Well, we know that numbers that have bigger exponents are bigger. So, the number that's the biggest here has to have the biggest exponent. That's got to be the one with the 3. So, I know that B is the greatest. And I'm doing them backwards because we're being asked to go from least to greatest. Okay, so B is taken care of. Which one would be the next biggest? That would be the -4 power, right? So that would be D. Okay, now the A and C have the same exponent. So now we get to look at these numbers in front. The bigger the number, the bigger the value. So the A has to be the next biggest, and then finally C. And that, friends, is how I put them in order by exponents first, and then look at the actual numbers once you get down to the ones that have the same exponents. Good work on that one. For number 11, we are given an equation and we're asked to graph it. Oh, that sounds right up alley for our Desmos calculator. So I'm going to clear this one out that we used previously. I'm going to, instead of doing S of t, I'm just going to type y equals 285, open that parentheses, 1.75, close it, and then remember to use your caret, shift 6, and then you'll have to use an X there. Now, the good thing about Desmos is that you can actually use this plus or minus here to zoom in or zoom out if you need to see a bigger picture of what's going on there. So we're going to want to just draw a little bit of our graph so that we kind of get an idea of what that graph looks like. Now, one of the key points I think is right here. This -10, if you'll hold your cursor down, you can see it. It's -10 and 1 point something. So I want you to use that to kind of draw your graph. And then it gets really big. Remember, we're not after a perfect graph. We're looking for a sketch-like. And so you can do that with Desmos. If you'll use your cursor, just click on it and Desmos will tell you what the value is there if you need to get some points from it. This is a good one of multiply. And I don't know about you, but I'm getting the feeling I want to use the box method for this one. And you may be going, Miss May, I don't do the box. That's okay. If you do the distributive property, you and I are going to get the same answer. I'm just going to do this one with the box because I think it's fun to do different methods. Challenge myself with different methods every so often. Forgive my non-straight box. Okay, I did 3 columns because I've got 3 terms in that first parentheses. And I did 2 rows because I've got 2 terms in the second parentheses. Did you see how I listed them? Okay. If you had any minuses, you of course would use a negative with the following term. I didn't, so I didn't have to do that. And now to fill the boxes, I simply multiply. X times 4x squared gives me 4x to the third. X times 3x, 3x squared. X times 5, 5x. 4 times 4x squared, 16x squared. 4 times 3x, 12x. 4 times 5 is 20. Now, all we have to do is combine our like terms. So I see that the 4x cubed, there's no other x cubed term. So I'll write that as part of our answer. Then I see these 2x squared terms. So I'm going to add those. 16x squared plus 3x squared would give me 19x squared. Then I've got 5x and 12x. That'll give me 17x. And then I've got the 20. And that's my simplified answer because I was able to just combine like terms. Remember, the whole purpose of our practice exam is that while you're taking that semester exam, you've got your practice exam sitting here. When you look at problem 13 on the exam, I want you to look back at the practice exam number 13 to refresh your memory on how to work that problem. Also, don't forget there's extra credit involved. So make sure that you're showing your steps along the way. You've got everything that I've got. So when you send that to me, man, it's super easy to give you that extra credit.
We're going to take a look at multiplying w plus 8 times w plus 8. I'm going to use the distributive property for this problem. So I'm going to distribute the w to the w. And when I do that, I'm going to multiply. So w times w gives you w squared. Then I'll distribute the w to the 8. W times 8 would give you 8w. Let's do the same thing with the 8 here. We'll distribute it to the w. So 8 times w gives you 8w. And then we'll distribute the 8 to the 8. So 8 times 8 would give us 64. One last step here, and that is I want to go ahead and combine these like terms. 8w plus 8w would be 16w. And this would be my final answer here, the w squared plus 16w plus 64.
If you saw problem number 12, you know I worked it with the box method, and I'm going to do it again because it's just so easy to organize our information. Now, I'm making 2 columns and 2 rows. 2 columns because there's 2 terms in the first parentheses, and 2 rows because there are 2 terms in the second parentheses. Now, I want to point out that you notice that I used a -3 for the 5x minus 3. I had to put a -3 there. Okay, that's how you deal with the subtractions. Now, we will fill the boxes by simply multiplying. 5x times 5x is 25x squared. 5x times 3 is 15x. 5x times -3 is -15x. And -3 times 3 is -9. Now, all we have to do is combine the like terms. So I see this 25x to the second. I don't have a term to go with that. Then I see these 2 x terms. I've got positive 15x and negative 15x. Those are going to add to give me 0. So I don't put an x term. Then I have -9. And this is my answer. In fact, this is called a difference of 2 squares. A difference of 2 squares. All right, I'm going to go ahead and circle it, make sure it looks like my answer. If you know me, seen my videos before, you know I like to use a lot of color. I love my highlighters and my colored pens.
The area of Dr. May's backyard is given by the trinomial x squared plus 2x minus 24. What are the possible dimensions of the yard? Use factoring. So we want to factor this trinomial x squared plus 2x minus 24 into 2 parentheses. So we're going to ask ourselves, first of all, each term is going to get an x because of that x squared there. Then we're going to ask ourselves, what 2 numbers multiply to give us -24, but add to give us +2? Let me say that again. What 2 numbers multiply to give us -24, but add to give us +2? That's going to be +6 and -4. And this actually answers the question here because we were asked what are the possible dimensions. So what are the 2 things that could factor together to give us that area? And so that would be x plus 6 and x minus 4.